Welcome to Ready for Real Estate. I'm Lauren. Whether you're renting your first apartment, buying a family home, or building an investment portfolio, this show's about the strategy and the nuts and bolts of the industry. We believe real estate is the most versatile tool for building wealth, but you have to know how to use it. We're here to help you navigate the shifts so that when opportunity knocks, you'll be ready. Let's get into it.
Hey peeps, good afternoon. Welcome back to Ready for Real Estate. This is Matt Grace, host of the podcast on how to get ready for your real estate needs. So whether it's buying, investing, managing, or even just needs of building or maintaining your real estate portfolio, this is the one-stop shop here where we talk monthly about the right way and the correct way to start to be ready so none of those surprises comes up and really hurt your bottom line. Today's guest is really a good guy in the industry. We go way back. I'm so lucky he was able to come on today. Today we have, his name is Ken Leposa, and he is a realtor in New Jersey, an investor, even an Army vet. So we'll get into that background soon with Ken. And I just want to say hello to our co-host, Lauren. Hey, Lauren, how are you? How are you today?
Hey guys, I'm doing well, thanks. How are you?
Good. Anything going on in real estate world?
There's always something going on. Rates have been up and down all around. So if you have any questions there, definitely reach out to your lenders. You need to get hooked up with a lender and let us know, and we can certainly make some recommendations. But yeah, we are in the thick of the spring market right now. So things are moving. They're moving fast. And any questions, anybody wants to get in on it, feel like you're missing out, give us a call. We'll help out.
Yeah, it's funny you bring up the spring market. I noticed social media is like changed overnight, where I see a bunch of agents throwing signs up saying spring market.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty funny how it's anything over 50 degrees, it changes the mindset there.
Yeah. It's the for sale by owner signs are coming up like weeds in my neighborhood. Every time I take my dog out, there's like 3 more. It's like, perfect. I'm calling you next.
Yeah. So we're going to say hello to Ken now. So Ken, welcome to Ready for Real Estate. I so appreciate you coming on. You're one of the good guys. I've learned so much out from you. And for you to come on and share your knowledge and your experience with our group, I'm really appreciative. So how you doing today?
Well, first off, Matt and Lauren, thank you very much for having me on. It's really an honor to be on with you guys. Matt, like I told you, I mean, you're just a good guy, a good dude, and somebody that's just straight trustworthy, and that you can just, if someone's listening to you, they'll listen to the gospel because you know it's true.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So it means a lot.
Of course, man.
We started this
That's
podcast just to get the knowledge out. Knowledge is free, and we all learn together. So I tried to, good people hang with good people, and I think that's why I've learned so much from you. So I'm trying to share that knowledge now. So fill us in. What's your background? So how did you get to this point here?
I guess I'll start from the beginning, I guess, right? No, like you had stated before, I'm an Army vet, former federal law enforcement. Obviously, we used to work together as well. And when I was down in DC in federal law enforcement, went ahead and my real estate agent down there actually asked me, "Hey, you ever think about investing in real estate?" I'm like, "No, but sure, sounds cool." I said, I do what I had to do in the military, do real estate too. So I went ahead and he found me a property to go ahead and flip. And he called me up and said, "Hey, I found a property." I'm like, "Cool, let's go, let's do it." I checked it out, ran some numbers, didn't really know how to run numbers, but ran some numbers and, talked to the wife, and the wife was like, "Yeah, let's do it. Let's get it done." So make a long story short, we went ahead, we purchased the property. We didn't have any contractors. I went to the thumbtacks and the home advisories out in the world and literally found my contractors as we were flipping it. And, at the end of the day, it actually only took us 3 months, which I was impressed from start to end for our first one. And we made a little money and we were like, you know what? This is fun. Let's do it again. I got a transfer up to New Jersey. So we weren't able to do it down in Northern Virginia again, which we kind of wanted to. But we had our second son just before we moved back to Jersey. So like, he was only 3 weeks old. We couldn't flip a house because we were just too busy with the kids, work, and everything. So we started doing rentals. We actually bought our first rental property before we bought our first primary home in New Jersey. So we bought a duplex. Yeah, it was crazy. So we actually bought it like 2 months before we found our house. So we got that ready. It was a duplex. We went ahead and started investing in 2017, and I got my license in 2022, and off and running.
That's pretty amazing. So how many units do you have now?
Well, from 2017 to now, we have total of 62 units. We actually not stopped buying, but slowed down in 2022 because the prices were really, really north. So we stopped a little bit, and then this past year we actually in 2025 we bought 3 more duplexes, and that's what got us to 62. Really, since from 2017 to 22, we actually had roughly 58, 59 units.
Wow. And so are there certain criteria that you look for that you build on from there, like certain areas, certain pricing, certain?
Yep, definitely 100%. And if you don't have your own criteria and stay in that criteria, then you're not going to make it. You need to go ahead and pretty much stay in your lane. You stay in your lane and then go ahead and nibble maybe on the outskirts of that to be able to learn different lanes. But for what we were doing was our first property was a duplex in an area that's kind of a C to C plus area, and if people don't understand the levels, you have your A top tier, pretty much a very affluent area, no crime at all, perfect Nickelodeon area, right? And then you got your B areas, which are still great and everything, but they're not great areas for rentals because simple fact is because you're not going to cash flow on them. C's are good. You're going to cash flow a little bit. D's are definitely my ideal area, which I love for cash flow. But anyway, so my first property, it was in a C area, C plus area. It was a duplex. We bought it for $125,000, and we went ahead and put like maybe $6,000 into it, literally. And once I was already occupied, and we went ahead and occupied the other side, and I refied it 6 months later at $160,000 and pulled out $105,000 out of it. So I pretty much bought that property for roughly $31,000, and we still have that one today.
Yeah.
And and then from there, then we bought that. We went into. I decided to go in. I was like, you know what, C area is great. That was all right. Let's go to D areas. I said, again, I'm prior military, prior federal law enforcement. Not worried about anything. So let's try a D area. So we went to a D area and noticed I was like, wow, that 105,000 could buy me 2 or 3 houses. So let's do that. So I went ahead, bought 2 houses, refied both of those, well over what we paid for them, and bought more. And kept buying more, and then we started getting into multifamilies, some triplexes, and then I got into the what do you call it? The rooming houses where you're actually renting single family homes, but you're renting per room legally because there's a lot of rooming houses out there that are illegal, but in the state of New Jersey, you go through the Department of Community Affairs and actually get it legalized and certified and licensed and everything. And I rent per room in those. So I got 3 of those properties right.
That's amazing. Yeah, I remember when you picked up those rooming houses, and it was a phenomenal deal. It was amazing, and I'm just blown away how you went from 1 to 2, and how it's just been textbook, almost show like how you grew and became to this point. Is there anything that you have learned that you would want to pass along to people? Like you mentioned the grades, like the D areas, C area. If someone's coming out and they don't have your type of background in the military or in law enforcement, what would be their area to concentrate on? Is it B's? Is it, or should we even back it up and be like, what kind of background should they start? Yeah.
Well, so really it comes down to, first off, what kind of an investor do you want to be? You want to be a cash flow investor where you're getting cash flow in your rental properties, or do you want to be an equity investor where you're building equity in the homes that you're going ahead and investing in? So yes, I mean I could buy a home in an A or B area and not make a dime on it per month, but I'm having somebody else pay my mortgage down and the property value is going up. So in 20, 30 years, well, not even 20, 30 years, but 10, 15 years from now, I'm going to go ahead and sell that property for a significant increase. But the problem to me is, okay, but now what about if HVAC system goes? What happens if, I got to go ahead and I'm not going to have to upgrade electrical because you're in an AB area. What if the roof fails? Now you got to change this stuff. Now you're taking a hit per year. Me myself, I can't do that. So I have a property. I have a rental property right now in an A area, and I love it. And it was actually my first primary home. When I moved to where I'm at now in Cherry Hill, and we bought it right, and we bought it right, meaning we bought it at a low end time, and now we bought it. I'll tell you, we bought it for $291. Can you hear me? All right. So we bought it for $291.
Yeah.
And we went ahead and my mortgage on the property right now is like $2,600 a month, and it's renting for $4,465. I mean, it's a phenomenal deal, but you can't go ahead and find those deals, in today's market now, because you're just going to get absolutely destroyed as far as, between what you're paying per month and what you're going to be able to get for rent. So really it's based on what do you want to do? Do you want to go ahead and be an equity investor and worry about it later on in 10, 15 years down the road, where you're going to go ahead and sell and get your money out that way? Or do you want to try and do both? You want a cash flow. You want to hold it for 20, 25 years. And, later on, in just cash flow every year, but then also 20, 25 years from now, go ahead and sell it and make it fun. So really it comes down to, first off, what kind of investor you want to be. Secondly, it has to be, what areas do you feel comfortable in? When you drive the streets, do you feel comfortable enough to even get out of the car? If you don't feel comfortable enough to get out of the car, then that's not a place to go ahead and invest in. But me personally,
you mentioned that. I love that you bring that up to go and check it out, because I have people ask me all the time, what do you think of this neighborhood? And it's like, I'm not really allowed to have an opinion by law. I can't have an opinion on the area.
Yeah.
So I'll tell them to do that exactly. Go check it out. Go do a drive-by, because I'm like you, Ken. Like you can put me just about anywhere and I'm fine. I have a property in North Philly. Camden doesn't bother me, but that's me and my background. I can't say that that's the same for everybody.
Exactly.
But just like you said, you have to go check it out and see realistically what you are comfortable with, especially a property that you're going to be doing work in. Because, hey, guess what? You're going to be back and forth to the truck. You're going to be leaving the truck unlocked. You're going to have tools going back and forth. Is that something you want in this area?
Or and go one step further. You're not only going to be doing the work, you're most likely going to be doing the work at night too. I mean, I used to in the beginning, I used to do a lot of my own work at night, and it's, sometimes 10:30 at night after the kids are going to bed, I'm leaving to go do work in the houses because I don't want to, leave my wife to take care of the kids the entire. But
yeah, that's exactly what I did here. I nights and weekends and renovated before I moved in.
But anyway, it's just really based around about what comfortableness for you, for the person, and then after that, you find that comfortable area and you attack it. You go ahead and do your research. Find, all right, what kind of rents can I go ahead and get for this area? Now, me personally, I love using the FMR, the fair market rent from HUD. I love using that because at least that gives me a ballpark. Most of the time, as far as Section 8 values, it's a little bit less. But really, if you go ahead and do it right, you could get higher than those marks if you're doing it on an open market.
Now, Ken,
excuse me,
I want to pick your brain on Section 8, because I know that's something that a lot of investors, people thinking about getting into investing, and people thinking about renting out their homes, a bunch of people who will be working with tenants. What are your thoughts on renting to Section 8 tenants or renting to tenants with subsidies?
Well, first off, I've had regular paying tenants, and I've also had tenants that are voucher tenants as well. I have voucher tenants as well. And I mean, either one is good and either one is bad. I get all types of walks of life when it comes to if they're going to take care of my property, if they're not going to take care of my property. A lot of things out there. You hear, oh, Section 8 tenant, oh no, they're going to destroy my property. You want to bet? I First off, they have an inspection every year. And don't get me wrong, there's stuff that you being a landlord is they're gonna get you on. But you know what? That's just being a neglectful tenant. I mean, a neglectful landlord. There's a lot of stuff I've had,
Exactly.
that in the inspections that, hey, you got to take care of this. Well, I took care of that, but they destroyed it. And guess what? It went on a tenant. They had to pay for it. But then, another tenant that I haven't seen in, let's just say, 3 or 4 years because they pay every single month. I don't get any calls. I'm gonna leave the person alone. Why am I gonna keep on, bugging them? Hey, but you're paying your rent. So in 3 years later, when they would decide to move out, I go ahead and check the property for inspection time when they're leaving before I give them their security deposit back, and their home's destroyed. And they live that way. So I mean, it goes both ways. But really, I mean, I've had no issues with Section 8. I think Section 8 is a great program when it's handled right and used correctly. And all the subsidies also I've used. For instance, Salem County in Salem, New Jersey. I have a couple of tenants that are on Salem Social Services. Works perfectly. I have tenants in my rooming house that get it paid for by literally by welfare. Welfare pays their rooms in rooming houses, because Section 8 won't touch that because it has to be they have to have their own bathroom and also their own kitchen. No, one last thing about it though is the fact that I'm never gonna go ahead and turn around, guaranteed rent. If I'm gonna get 70% of my rent paid by the state or what have you, because I'm providing a house to somebody that has a voucher, bring it on. No problem. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I was just saying that. Of course, I mean, if I'm able to go ahead and get the rent paid for a property from the state through Section 8 or another subsidy, yeah, I'm definitely going to go ahead. When I say take advantage of it, I'm not taking advantage of it, but of course, I'm going to go ahead and take advantage of the standpoint of I'm going to give that tenant every benefit possible to be able to say, hey, you know what? I'll work with you. I know there's a lot of landlords out there. I'll be honest with you. There's a lot of I'll say it too. There's a lot of landlords out there that think they walk on water. And it's disgusting. And the way that they handle, oh, I won't touch. I won't put anybody who's Section 8 my property. Oh, that's good. Well, you're discriminating. You're discriminating. Good for you. You know what? Pass that number on to me. And I'll go one step further. And I'm Lauren, and also Matt, I know you've probably seen this yourselves, how even real estate agents will even go ahead and say too, oh, I don't know if my landlord's going to accept a Section 8 tenant. Oh, good. Well, guess what? You being a real estate agent, what should you do? You should drop that landlord. If you're actually on the right thing, you're supposed to drop that landlord, because that landlord is telling you, the agent, to discriminate, and you can't do that.
100%. 100%.
And if you don't know your, I'm sorry, Lauren. Yes, you're right. But if you as an agent, you don't know your job, or you don't know that portion of the job, meaning as far as rental property, don't touch it. Don't touch it. Sorry, I get passionate about it.
No, it's fair. I love it. It's because coming up in the industry, it was always, from what I would hear, you would hear both sides of the coin, but coming up in Philly, more times than not, it was a horror story. And we all know I love my horror stories, but at the same time, some of the best tenants I've ever had have had vouchers. So there's no reason not to. And you know what? It's the only time, probably the only time that rent gets paid early is when the voucher comes. So it's an amazing program. I know there are programs here in Montgomery County that are absolutely phenomenal. I can't say enough wonderful things about them, but no, you're absolutely right. We cannot allow ourselves as professionals to be put in a position where somebody can say we're discriminating. And that's exactly right.
Exactly.
If my client asks me to have to practice discrimination, I'm out. I'm done. I can't.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. My license isn't worth.
Yeah.
I'll move on.
Exactly.
On. Just like you said, I'll the next. We'll see what I can sell him.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Talking about.
So what other mistakes people should avoid just off of this chat here? So as they're starting out, what would hold them back if they did it?
What would hold them back?
Yeah, if they made a mistake.
Well, the number one mistake is paralysis by analysis. That's number one. I mean, don't get me wrong. Yeah, you got to work your numbers, make sure your numbers work. You know what? Get some raw numbers. Get out there, check the property out. Because if you're gonna go ahead and run your numbers to the teeth, and then before you even go check the property out, then you know what? You got to get a feel for the property also by going out there. Go in the neighborhood. As you're driving there, what's around there? What's on the route to where you're going to be going? That's number one, paralysis by analysis, for the simple reason that I talk to guys all the time that want to buy properties, and I send them properties. All right, well, let me just run my numbers. That property's gone. Gone. I run my numbers. Me and my partner run our numbers, and as soon as we run our numbers, a raw number, meaning that just something within a reasonable confines of what we want to earn and what we think that we should be doing, then we go look at the property. Then I go look at the property. If that property is going to go, bam, let's get it. What's a good number? And then while we're in the contract, finish working on numbers. But that's number one. Number two, really, understanding how a house works. Everything as far as understanding how a house works. There's a lot of landlords out there that'll go ahead and get home inspections on properties and everything like that. I mean, me personally, as far as me being an investor, I don't get inspections on properties anymore because simple fact is that I'm going to be doing stuff to the house. So as I'm doing stuff to the house, if I find something messed up, I know the vendors I should be using for what I need them for. Another thing is also making sure, don't keep using the same contractor and just take him at his word that his number is the best. Because a lot of the don't get me wrong, I love my contractors, but sometimes every once in a while you got to go ahead and get another quote. Just get another quote. Just make sure your contractor you're giving a bunch of business to is giving you the best numbers. Because if not, then you got to check them sometimes and let them know, like, hey, listen, I got another guy over here, $1,500 less. What's the deal? After me not giving me the best number, you're giving him constant work. He should be giving you constantly good numbers. Another thing also, when you go check out a property, some investors I know didn't realize that their home didn't take into consideration that the house had Navitu, and then all of a sudden you got a nice big bill, because you got to rerun that wire, and that could cost you anywhere between $4,000 to $8,000, and depending upon the size of the house.
And your feet
But
may expire on that. Your insurance may require it.
oh yeah, no, the insurance company will require it, and especially if it's seen. Yeah, I mean those are the big things I think, and then also just don't buy a property unseen. I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I've done it, but I mean, like I've been in the business now a little bit. I didn't do it my first couple, but don't buy a property unseen because people, you see it on TV and everything. You think that's cool, but at the end of the day, that's not good enough. You go ahead and do that. You're just asking for a bunch of trouble.
Exactly. It's there's so much involved. I mean, granted, you can always, I tell clients all the time, it's like, I'll FaceTime with you. I don't care. Like that's fine. But they're still seeing things in real time. And it's like definitely here before we close. Ciao. It's like you said, there's stuff that you're not going to know until you get in there. And my famous last words on my end is like, what about the smell? You can't smell it through the phone. You're not going to know. Somebody had dogs, somebody had cats, somebody had an infestation, the fire, whatever. You're not going to smell any of that through the phone.
You're right. That literally happened to me during COVID. I went ahead, we purchased a house in Collingswood. Bought a house in Collingswood. We bought a house in Collingswood, New Jersey. And we had our masks on because it was right in the middle of COVID. And we went ahead and We we didn't realize the house is fine. You know what? We're getting at a very an awesome price, and then all of a sudden we close on a property. We go ahead and we get in the house, and we didn't have our masks on. We go ahead and start cleaning out. As soon as you open the door, we're like, oh my goodness, what is that smell? She had the previous owner had 6 cats and 4 dogs, and it stunk to high heaven. It stunk like cat urine, and that is probably literally single-handedly the worst smell in the entire world. Well, we had to rip out not just the flooring. Here's something else that you should do. Never wear a mask when you go in to a viewing of a house, because of this mistake I made, and it cost us a bunch of money. So we had to go ahead and rip up all the subfloors. I had to go ahead and spray down all the joists and clean all the joists by hand with a urine remover cleaner that had hydrogen peroxide in it, and we got all the smell out. But we had to put all new subfloors in, which we didn't we weren't we didn't have that budgeted in, and yeah, it was god awful. But we got through it. We still took care of it. But I mean, yeah, it was a very bad situation. Sorry, as we're going, Matt. Sorry, let me just revert back real quick. Something that you need to do also is if you're flipping a house, I would definitely go ahead and before you go ahead and redo the driveway or any landscaping, make sure you do a scope of the sewer line. Make sure that sewer line is clear and good to go, because I had that situation also. Went ahead and put a brand new driveway down. We got the house under contract, and the new owner, the seller, went ahead and said, "Yeah, I want to get it scoped." They got a camera down the sewer line, and we found the fact that there was roots in the sewer line. So they wanted it to go ahead and get fixed. We try to get drilled through the roots. When it drilled through, we had to go ahead and replace the sewer line. And where did the sewer line go? Directly underneath the driveway. So I had to rip the driveway up and put it back down again. So that driveway cost me 2.5 times. So yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it's brutal. But I want to ask. It's actually a perfect segue, Ken. Thanks for setting me up. But I wanted to ask about the due diligence that you do when you're interested in a property. So you mentioned knowing your numbers. You mentioned specifically going in and scoping out the sewer line, especially given your military and police background or your law enforcement background. I'd love to know how that comes into play with digging into the due diligence before you purchase a property.
So here's two ways. First way is I'll give you 2 scenarios, because when I go to a property and then when I'm actually going ahead and viewing a rental property for a client, okay, I do a lot more due diligence for my clients than I do for myself, which is I shouldn't do, but I do. But for my clients, what I do is, because most of my clients that buy rental properties through me, I've never seen their properties, okay? They only see videos of the properties, and also I use my meta glasses so they can see it real time with me on WhatsApp. So I'll go ahead and foremost, go ahead and look at the area outside the house. When I say look at the area, I'm talking about the block, the neighbors. See, do these people keep their properties neat, clean, what have you? And if they keep them neat and clean, then that means they're going to expect their neighbors to keep their property neat and clean as well. Then, as I'm going into the actual house, I check the property around the perimeter. If I see anything like in regards to, if I see if there's any kind of water intrusion looking areas at the base of the house, to if there's any grading issues in the property that could be an issue for a water intrusion later on. Then from there, I'll go into the house. I'll check. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I'll check the brick. If it's brick, I'll look at the brick of the outside of the house. Make sure all the pointing is good. Make sure there's no literally trees coming out of the brick pointing, because I've had that also. And then also, also the windows. See if there's, the wooden windows from the outside. See if I'm going to have to cap anything, if I'm going to have to scrape any paint, what have you. Then going on in the house, I'm looking at it from, foremost, I'm walking in the house and I'm walking into the house. I don't want to say haphazardly, but I'm going to look at the first floor, going to look at the second floor, then I'm going to go to the basement and look at everything. Then I'm going to do it again, but I'm going to do it from the top down. Look at the second floor, the top floor of the house. Look at everything and look under the vanities. See, is the piping metal? Is the piping, PVC? Is there accordion piping in there? Because accordion piping you can't have. Making sure that how's it looking as far as just like the shower. All aspects of the bathroom, all aspects of the bedroom. You know, do the bedrooms have closets? So, where there is like for instance, Camden is notorious for not having closets in bedrooms. Or if they do have closets, they're the smallest closet you've ever seen. Which it is what it is. It's fine. Then from there, then I'll go back down to the first floor. I'll check, the kitchen mainly, kitchen and bedrooms, kitchen and bathroom. Excuse me. You know, how are we looking as far as the kitchen? Are the cabinets good to go, or do I have to completely replace them, or do we have to go ahead and paint them? If you can paint them, great. If we have to replace them, fine, because I actually have a guy who I actually get disposable kitchens from. It's phenomenal. So then from there, then I'll go down to the basement. We go down to the basement. First over and foremost, I'm looking up. I want to see if I see any knob tube. Is there any knob tube in the basement that I can see? Could I tell from the first and second floor? Yes, I could, because I could or can't, because the light switches, knob and tube wiring light switches are actually a little bit thicker. If you look at the switch itself, it's a little bit thicker than an updated switch. All right. And obviously outlets too. You see two prong. Most likely it's, if it's not knob and tube, it's the grade of just above. Then, but yeah, in the basement, I'm looking up for knob and tube that's exposed wiring. Then I'm also looking at the box, seeing what the box looks like. When I say box, I'm talking about the electrical box. And then also obviously looking at the hot water heater and also the HVAC system. I like, all these towns will go ahead and put a permit sticker on the what do you call hot water heater HVAC system. If they don't have one, most likely that thing wasn't permitted. But you know what I mean? Like, it happens all the time. But when you go ahead and get the CO, it's gonna, especially in some towns that check everything, if they go ahead and say, oh, you're missing this, or this, then definitely know that thing wasn't permitted. But and then also I'm looking at just the chimney connection where the HVAC system, the heater, if it's not a high efficiency furnace, I'm checking the exhaust line, see how that looks and everything. And then obviously when I'm on the first floor, I'm checking the windows. Are they vinyl replacements? Are they wood? Are they really old fashioned ones with the weights, inside the frames? And then if they are wooden, then you probably have another issue because of lead paint, but yeah. And then from there, then what I'll do then is, for my investors, I'll send them a full video of my entire description of what I see on the house, and in clips I usually do per floor. And then I also look up on the second floor, or the top floor, excuse me. I look to see if there's any discoloring, because obviously then, was there a leak? Is it an active leak? If it just rained, is it wet? Is it not? If it just rained, it's not wet. Okay, great. But yeah, and then I try and run my numbers also for the property as if I'm going to go ahead and buy it, and then my clients run their numbers as well. But for me though, I'll go ahead. I'll run my numbers before I even go out and just raw numbers. I'll go check the house. I don't really check the neighborhood. I check the neighborhood a little bit, but really I check the house and see how deep I got to get into this house. And then from there, we get moving on it. I'm probably going to try and buy it.
That's a lot of work, but it's well worth it. When
It is.
it's like your time on the line. Yeah. Yeah. So what's your future outlook for the Jersey area, for the real estate market?
I'm sorry, say it one more time.
So what's your
Say it one more time.
What's your outlook for the New Jersey market? No, it's all right.
So I see the New Jersey market really just still being strong, because it's, it's very, by me, it's very strong. I mean, we're still getting multiple offers. We're still getting bidding wars, and we're still getting, really, I mean, from the real estate side, we're still getting top dollar. And, but it's funny. I say from the real estate side, we're still getting top dollar. But then also, if you're a good real estate agent, you're also helping your client get the best deal too. So, but yeah, I mean, like as far as the real estate market, I think the real estate market in Jersey, definitely South Jersey, is very strong, and I don't see how it could slow down. Honestly, especially in D-ish neighborhoods, I don't see it slowing down at all. I really don't. I see Camden. Camden is extremely strong, extremely strong. It's just amazing the numbers that these houses are going for now and what they're closing at. Another great market I'm seeing, which a lot of people don't talk about, is Salem. The city of Salem, I don't buy, me personally, I mean, like, I don't buy any single families in Salem. I buy duplexes, and they're phenomenal. But I really, I think from the investment point of view, I think the outlook for the real estate market in Jersey is extremely strong, and what's even stronger is the rental market. Now, if the rates come back down, that might be a different story.
That's great. Yeah. Yeah, I think people are going to kind of either sit on the rates that they already have or hold out for those numbers to get a little bit more palatable.
So to finish up, and I have one last question, and I'll allow Lauren a question or two here. So what does ready for real estate mean to you? What would your best client be ready? What would you expect out of it?
That's a very good question, man. That's awesome. So, ready for real estate to me is the fact that my client has all their ducks in a row. And the way you get your ducks in a row is first really having that good agent behind you to be able to help you and show you how it is to be ready for real estate. Because at the end of the day, you could be looking for houses all day long, but if you don't know what you can spend, it doesn't matter. Congratulations, looking at the house, $600,000, but due to your income, your credit, and everything, you can spend $300,000. So for me, ready for real estate is getting that agent that's going to be able to help you out and really help you find that lender also that's going to be good for you. And then once you've got that lender and also that real estate agent, then you're going to be ready for real estate because you're going to have your ammo. For me, my client's ammo is a pre-approval. You get that pre-approval, then you know what? You got bullets down, you're good to go. Now you're ready to go to war and find a house for yourself, and having that guy or girl on your right or left, that agent to walk those properties with you. That's, and really an agent that's knowledgeable of not just the area, not just the home, but actually just understanding what a house is and what it can be for you. Because yes, you're going to have a home inspection, but I'm the kind of agent that's going to go ahead and help you not buy the house before you want to buy the house. Because I'm not going to say we'll sell you the house. You're going to sell yourself in the house. I'm going to sell you on why you shouldn't buy the house. And then if you still want the house at the end of the day, that's the house for you. But to make a long story short, which is obviously, to make a long story short, ready for real estate is if I could say, hey, I'm ready for real estate, that means I have all of my partners next to me. Because it really takes a village to find that house.
So I always like to ask, I'm a perpetual student. I always love to learn. It's one of the things that I love about real estate. There's always something to learn. There's always something new. So in coming up and kind of figuring this out for yourself, Ken, are there any resources that you have found success with or anything that you find yourself going back to reference or any blogs, YouTube channels, personalities, anything in particular that has helped you find the success that you've found?
Two answers for this. First answer is me and my wife. We took a real estate one of those real estate classes where you pay a bunch of money. Okay, we literally had this person come out to the house. He stayed in a hotel for 3 days. He brought us out. Did this, did that. It gave us a program also to be able to use too. Cost me $25,000. Okay. And he said that he was going to show us how to do a lease option and that within the 3 days, he guarantees to have a lease option done. How many lease options do we get done? I'm asking you guys. How many lease options? 0. Not one. But guess what happened? I still cut a check for $25,000. Okay. So my motivation, every single deal I do, is to go ahead and just keep making back that $25,000. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I go back to is I go back and I say, you know what? I'm buying another property because of the fact I'm going to make another $25,000 every single time. So, and then as far as what do I go back to? I literally go back to, it's going to sound funny, but it's what I really go back to is I go back to my wife. My wife and I are partners, okay, in our investment company. And really, I mean, she's my rock on it. So, I mean, that's my one truth I know I can go to. And I know she, not that she's got all the answers, but I mean, like, you know what? She is my conscience when it comes to real estate. And I know that, she's my partner and she's the best thing for me for real estate as well. Also, obviously in life. Yeah. It's when I go as far as real estate is concerned, my number one that I go back to is, my wife is my partner. She always tells me all the time. I always tell her, oh, we should partner with this person, that person. She's like, no, partners are dancing. So yeah.
No, that's awesome, Ken. I love to hear it.
So Ken, what are you working on now, or what do you want our audience to know what they can do with you? Any
What
programs
does
you
it
want to
know about
push?
me? Oh, anything. So for anybody looking to go ahead and invest in the South Jersey market, the South Jersey area, and soon Pennsylvania also when I go ahead and get my license, which I'm going to be doing within the next month. I want, I have a program that I put together myself that literally I don't ask for a dime from any of my investors at all. Okay. Because at the end of the day, I use both aspects, me being an investor and also me being a real estate agent. So I'm getting paid off my commissions. Okay. I go ahead, I literally walk my clients through the entire process. If you want to go ahead and purchase a property or get into the rental game, or if you're a seasoned vet in the rental game and in not rental game in the investment game, and you're looking to reinvigorate, motivate yourself in it. Listen, being prior military and prior military and prior federal law enforcement, I can promise you, I can motivate you getting back into the game. What I do is I help you acquire the property. When I say help you acquire the property, I find the properties for you that I feel are going to be the best fit for the best deal in the areas that you want to be in. And then I help you rehab it, meaning like I have contractors that make that would be able to go ahead and help you, and give you great pricing, and they get the work done for you, permanent, everything. You don't have to worry about anything. And then from there, then we'll go ahead. I'll help you with my lenders, help you find the right mortgage broker to go ahead and get that refi if we are going to go ahead and use it as a rental, or if we're going to go in there, that's to be paid cash for it. And then we're going to go ahead and either we're going to put it up for rent and also for sale and see, what we're going to be able to do to make you money on it. What's the best aspect of making money on it? Meaning that, is it, did a did a tenant come in with the number that you wanted to go ahead and rent it? Or are we going to be able to sell it and get a good number for you to sell it on? Me personally, if I'm selling a property, I want to make 3 times what that yearly rent's going to be on that deal. If I'm going to make $12,000, per year on a rental property, then I better make $36,000 on a property on a sale. And then what else? Then I go ahead and then we go ahead and find another one. And we get it done. I can help you. I also help out with any kind of issues in regards to any maintenance issues or what have you. I can help you out with. I have contractors all for handyman for all those purposes. I'm the agent that's going to be able to help walk you all the way through the process and make sure that you're not alone. Because at the end of the day, especially on your first couple deals, and when you're not quite sure what's going on, yeah, fine. You may have an agent that understands real estate, but do you have an agent that truly understands investing and is truly immersed in investing? That's the difference between a good agent and a good agent that actually walks the walk, talks the talk, and walks. So anyway, so that's one program I have, and then I got a couple other programs that I have as well that I like to go ahead and help my clients with. But I mean, let's start off with that. If anybody wants to give me a call for any kind of real estate investing help, please give me a call. And you know, thank you so much, Matt and Lauren, for having me on. This was so much fun.
Thank you. Yes,
It's our pleasure.
it's a passion for me. It scratches my creative side. Uh, and Lauren's been so kind to come on and use her knowledge and her techniques with the social media and all that. So we're really lucky with that.
But she keeps you grounded. She
Lauren,
keeps you grounded also.
yeah. Now she asked a really good question. I'm just the bimbo.
No, I know that we are recording. It's not live. So can I ask you? Could I just go ahead and put my number and email address in there as well?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, please do. We'll include them in the show notes as well if anybody wants to get in touch.
All right, cool.
Yeah, just go ahead. Ken.
Yeah, plug away.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So if anybody wants to reach out to me for and you can either reach me on my website at www.kensellsouthjersey.com or reach me on my email at ken.leposa, that's Leposa, at cbrealty.com. Or you can text or call me at 908-309-1156.
So that's it for today, folks. Great episode. Thank you, Ken. One of the best agents that we know. If you need him, he's in South Jersey. Reach out to him. Thank you, Lauren, for another great co-hosting episode. Reach out to Lauren with any of your social media needs, real estate needs, whatever you need. Just reach out. And of course, me, the host of Ready for Real Estate. I'm Matt. You guys be ready, and we'll be here. Take care, everyone. Have a great night. Thanks for listening.
Thanks so much for listening. If you're looking for the links we mentioned today or want to connect with us on social media, everything you need is right there in the show notes. Join our community on Beehive for more market insights. And if you have a topic you want us to cover, reach out. We're always listening. If you need support on your next real estate deal, let us know. Matt Grace is a licensed realtor with Keller Williams in Pennsylvania, and Lauren is a licensed realtor with eXp Realty in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Remember, the market is always moving. When opportunity knocks, will you be ready? We'll see you in the next one.